Troops, this is the Eagle Podcast, the home of accountability. Troops, here we are. It's the Eagle Podcast. I've been joined today by a fucking gleaming bloke. Do you remember taking your missus to the cinema and before the movies would start, there'd be a fucking awesome fucking Royal Marine advert and you'd be like, fucking hell. You'd be sitting there eating your fucking fizzy fancels and your flumps thinking, what? I wouldn't mind a bit of that. And then at the end...
Look at that essence bloke.
Yeah. And at the end it would say 99.9% need not apply. Well, this guy did apply. And not only did he apply, he became the 0.1%. Gaz, how are you doing, mucker?
I'm good, mate. Are you?
Yeah, I'm fucking smashing it, mate. Going strong.
Good. Thanks for having me, mate.
No, hey, look, we've talked before the podcast and I feel, you know, that we should sort of say thanks to Alex for putting us in the same room because now a week later we are sat doing a podcast. So Alex from Red Coat Apparel, top bloke, thanks very much for this.
Yeah, legend, mate. Legend of a guy.
Yeah, he certainly is. How do you know Alex?
So we did our CP course together.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Argosure up in Durham, Peterborough. And I met him on there, mate. We had a great time. We had a really good time. And then when I was out in Afghan doing CP, I bumped into him again.
Right.
He was working for a different company. And we just kind of got back connected then, mate. And then just recently, we're coming back on social media. So
sweet. I mean, let's start there, Gaz. Security. I remember everyone leaving the forces to go and chase the counter piracy, CP work. What's it like? What's it really like compared to what you're told it's like?
So I tried to get into CP for about 3 years, mate. Just like land-based stuff. Found it really, really difficult. Nobody really got back to me. And then I got in touch with a good friend, John Riddle. Told him that I'd be going for Abramovich's job in London. And he just was like, mate, that bloke's a tool. Just like chin him off. You want to get in touch with Orlando Rogers and get out with Solis doing maritime security. I'd never even give it a thought, mate, and didn't really realise how big it were at the time.
Right.
So yeah, went out on my first job with Solis. I'd been putting stuff back on a conveyor belt in Asda because I couldn't afford it. And then I went down for my interview with Solis on Tuesday, got offered the job Wednesday, and then flew out on Friday.
Okay.
And within like 7 days, I'd earned like $5 or $6 grand. It was mental. Yeah, and then I stayed out for about a year then. But it was good, mate. It was good. There's a lot of time sat around in general, maritime and land-based CP. There's a lot of time sat about and stuff like that. But it's good, mate. Obviously, the money's good. Risk is high, especially on land-based stuff. But yeah, I did enjoy it, mate. I really enjoyed it.
Where did you go when you did counter piracy? So
we just literally like boxed around the Indian Ocean, really, mate. So we'd start going down the Red Sea from Egypt, down the Red Sea, Somali Basin and stuff like that. And then all the way down to Durban, South Africa, up north as far as Muscat, Middle East, and then east to Sri Lanka where we disembark and get off. So it was just the whole kind of region, really.
And the old Somali pirates, are they as keen and as mustard as everyone makes them out to be?
They are, mate. Yeah, I mean, you see stuff every now and again, and it's like that split second. Like, is it fishermen? Are the pirates and stuff like that? I mean, we got attacked on the four of us in 2011, 6th of August. We got attacked by like between 8, 10, maybe 12 skiffs. Just came at us from port and starboard side, and I were TL, and like it was just there was trying to compose myself to like give lads instructions. Initially, were hard work. I had like an initial realization where I thought, fucking hell, like we're gonna have to surrender here to like preserve any like percentage of life, and I've got no problem saying that. I've mentioned it in my book. Like I just felt like the fragility that I had in that moment were like I just didn't like it. I thought, we're going to potentially get killed, and I didn't want to die. But after a couple of deep breaths, mate, I just could think with absolute clarity. And we're in a contact for about 35 minutes, and we eventually repelled that attack and got out of it. But
and what sort of manning levels was like a section? How many blokes did you have?
We had 4, mate. Yeah.
Okay.
4 lads. And one of the funniest things, mate.
4 lads.
One of the lads, mate. He just
Delta Fire Team.
fucking hell, mate. One of the lads. He'd just come from Iraq. He'd been like over in the sandpit in Iraq. He'd just come over, and he were like, mate, Iraq's been honking. I want to just put my slippers on for a bit. And on his first fucking job, we got fucking one of the biggest attacks in piracy.
Fucking hell, 11 boats. Like, were you on like a big super tanker or something like that? Like,
yeah, we were on a tanker called the Volga Bulker, and it was just a big tanker that were like heavily laden with iron ore. The massive misconception, they're not after the ship. They just want they'll hijack anything. It's the captain that they're after and stuff like that, and just the leverage they've got with hijacking. So it was that full. It had like a 5 or lower freeboard, so they could just basically just kind of step onto it. It were an easy target, and it could only do like 8 or 9 knots, which is like, I don't know, 7 miles an hour.
Yeah,
so we couldn't even outrun them, mate. It was intense, mate. Yeah.
Fuck me, I know blokes who run that faster on a mile and a half.
after they've been up piss, mate.
Yeah. Fucking hell. That must have been like, because I'm thinking, if you're on a tanker, at least you've got high ground and you can defend people trying to board you. But if you literally are low in the ocean and they can just fucking get on board, then you've sort of lost your defensive capability, haven't you? Because at the end of the day,
I mean, one thing we did have, mate, is we had an elevated position with being on bridge wing, and
right, okay.
We were such as like a sturdy, stable target in the water. We just had a massive advantage. Do you know, we just had a massive, and that really, really paid dividends for us. And again, I put one at lads on the monkey deck on the highest point, and that enabled us to have like a 360 visual of what were happening. And he reported back down to me on the radio, and we the first part of it, we were like, we fucked here. Just slowly started winning the arm wrestle, and it wasn't really visual, but it was like perceptual. And once I started like feeling that, just the feeling and the relief that I were getting, I think that we all were getting from it were unbelievable.
What weapon systems did you have?
We had AKs, mate. We had like there were like new AKs. They weren't called AKs, but they were something else, like black and plasticky. Yeah, they were gleaming, mate. Absolutely gleaming. Spot on. It was weird, mate, 'cause I had a bit of a feeling. I boarded the boat in Malta, and I had a bit of a feeling that something were going to go down. And normally the policy was that you had to keep all the weapons in the weapon boxes, but I just told the lads to get them out and keep them loaded on the side of the bridge, like actually in the bridge, out the security of the boxes. Yeah. So against policy, mate, I would have lost my job without a shadow of a doubt. But I don't know. I had this like really weird feeling, and
so your state of readiness realistically saved that fucking ship, didn't it?
As a team, mate, yeah. As a team, I mean, I absolutely can't take credit for it. I mean, the lads were absolutely superb, mate. Well, it were just, the thing is, mate, I mean, you can do all rehearsing that you want in world, but I mean, we were like joking and having the banter prior and stuff like that, and we didn't do any rehearsing, because I was always quite against it, because you can rehearse for something like that, and you never know what's going to come or how it's going to unfold. But so we didn't do any rehearsals, and then like when it actually happened, the lads were like so on it, and everybody knew the role, and it was just superb, mate.
What was their backgrounds?
All Royal Marines.
Oh, right. So you're all on the same.
Yeah, one of the lads were ex SB Ribs.
Wow.
But yeah, we had a good team, mate. Yeah, like I think they'd all barring maybe SB Ribs lad had done Herrick.
Right.
So everybody had some good experience, mate, and it just all complemented, mate, really well.
It's fucking hell. It sounds like it was another part of the book. Now, going back, we'll sort of go backwards. Is that what you're still doing now? Or
no, mate, I've left now, so I'm still in security at the minute.
Right.
Just work for a guy in media industry in London. Do a week on, week off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's good, mate. So I go down there for a week, do that, and then I have a week off. And on my week off, I just do my uni. I've been studying forensic psychology for 6 years.
Oh, fucking gleaming.
and just doing my book project, mate. So I've just been doing that. So I just do all my own stuff on my week off. So it works for me, mate. It really works, and it's a good little gig in London. So it's good.
Let's move straight into it then. You've done something which I reckon every single man, woman who's ever gone through any form of training, as in military training, wishes, fucking hell, I wish I'd logged every single day that I was in training and how I was feeling.
Sure, mate. Yeah.
You did it. How did it start? Like, did you know going down to Lympstone that, right, I'm going to fucking make a diary?
Mate, I didn't at all, right? It's so bizarre looking back, mate, because I wasn't very good at school, and that's because I was hell-bent on turning pro and making that an absolute career for me. So I didn't really commit at school, do well at school at all. Mm-hmm. Couldn't really read until I was 11. And then basically, as I were going down to Lympstone to start week 1, day 1 of training, just as I was about to get on the train, my mum chucked me a diary that she'd just bought in a shop like W.H. Smith's.
Nice.
And she would just like, just write something down. She was emotional. She went, just write something down, anything. If things do get hard for you, hopefully it'll help you.
Yeah.
And she chucked me, and I just thought, like, fucking hell, of all the things you could have given me. And I were on the train, and I were nervous, and obviously there's that fear of the unknown, and you're like, I always kind of akin how I was feeling on that journey down to being like, a bit like on a roller coaster when you're strapped in and it sets off, and you're kind of like thinking, fucking hell, I don't know if I want to get off, but you can't, and you're on your way. And I were on the train down to Lympstone. I'm thinking, like, fucking hell, this is mental. What's happening here? So I just opened the diary, mate, and made my first entry. And from that moment on, I just felt completely compelled to keep it and to do it every day. And mate, that's what I did. Like I've mentioned in previous chats, I've always had like some OCD trait that's been inherent, and I just kept it every day. I mean, it was tough, mate. I mean, you know yourself when you've been in the field, and there were a period in training of 2 weeks where we had 10 hours sleep in 2 weeks, and trying to write a diary when you're in that state is it just added more stress to what I was doing. But like I said, I just felt compelled to do it. There were times in field where I couldn't take it in, or it were raining, or we'd been in an ambush and stuff, and I'd have to write on my hands and on my arms brief notes, or write on pieces of cardboard, and then just put it back into the diary. So it were a massive commitment, mate, on top of what I had to do. But so thankful now I've done it, mate, because it's
fucking hell,
it's spot on, mate. Yeah,
I don't really think people understand, like, as a young man or as a young woman going into that environment. Majority of people, sort of 18 to 20. All of us sort of come from a similar background, did shit at school.
Yeah.
Maybe we were going down the wrong tracks. You know, brothers, fathers, granddads were in the services. So there was always that affiliation to the services, whichever one it may be. And then you're right, like the train journey down and saying goodbye to like your mum and dad at the train station, like as a young boy, really, aren't you? And you're going down to this world. And I'll never forget turning up to my ATR, and I accidentally called the corporal mate, and he went, "I'm not your fucking mate."
Mate, everybody does that. Everybody does that. Like, I can remember one of the lads that started training, mate, he called the corporal recruit.
He'd have loved that. He'd have loved that.
Mate. Well, he loved it as well, mate, because we're in stress positions for about 30 minutes. Do it Superman on floor.
Recruit. Fucking recruit. I can hear it now.
Yeah.
But it's out of nerves, and you don't know how to fucking move, do you? You don't know, like, am I allowed to breathe? Can I go to the toilet?
This is it, mate. I've wrote about this in the book as well at the end in terms of reflections for training. It's like you're like a herd of like startled sheep.
Yeah.
That's like just had a light shone on you, and you don't know which way to turn, who to talk to, or what to say. It's such an attack on your senses, and as you as a young lad, I mean, you are in kind of still in your infancy of life. And
what's the first week like, and how quickly did you sort of create bonds and friendships with the lads in your what is it, platoon in your platoon? I mean,
troop, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you get down there, mate. You met off the Limston. Limston's got its own train station, Limston Commando. You're met by a drill instructor. Your drill instructor, he takes you up through camp, past Bottom Field, and you just see various other troops at different stages of training. And it's like I said, it's a massive assault on your senses and stuff. And you feel overwhelmed, you feel scared and frightened, and you get taken into foundation block, and it's a bit like Full Metal Jacket with 60 beds. The contrast in where you've just come from being like in the luxury and comfort of your own home to then being in foundation block at Limston's just massive, as you can relate yourself, mate. Like your stereotypical kind of construct of masculinity and of a man is, when you're that young, is like somebody that's maybe covered in tattoos and like big, massive, no teeth, like skinhead. And that's what you think, mate. You look around and you like think, God, he's going to pass. I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to stick with him. And you discount all these other people that are like kind of the grey man that don't really look anything. And no word of a lie, mate, that stereotype that you have is completely broken in 2 or 3, 4 weeks. I mean, I can remember that they lined us all up and they said, right, I want you to give your KFS, your knife, spoon and fork to somebody that you think is going to fail.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, mate, that were in the first couple of days, mate. And like, some lads had fucking loads just based on how they looked. Do you know what I mean? And I gave mine to Tom Curry, and as did a lot of other people. He were a big lad, looked little baby face, like 6 foot odd, and unbelievably, mate, he ended up being our commando medalist. Like, all the lads picked were like possessed all the commando ethos and spirit, and rightfully so, mate. He's tragically got killed in Afghan, but he were an absolutely superb guy and so strong mentally, physically, just encapsulated Royal Marine Commando, really. But yeah, just that kind of thing, mate. It's just a process of breaking down stereotypes when you first get there and reevaluating who you are and who you think other people are.
Yeah, I think you're right in what you said. Like, you are just. You just don't have a fucking clue, do you? Like, you're not even sure if you know how to walk anymore. You're like, is this how I do it? Like, am I doing it right now? And
yeah, it's right. I mean, you get told how to shower, don't you?
Yeah.
They tell you how to shower. Like we had one, like they're doing a shower demo, mate, and they're like washing one at Corporal's is washing his bollocks, lifting his bollocks up, and like then bending over and like washing his ass and stuff like that. It's mental.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. Like, I remember that. Like, first period tomorrow, fucking 05:30, dress, fucking flip flops, towel, fucking all your stuff. And I'm watching a fucking guy, and I'm probably looking back. He was maybe in his late 20s. Like, right, turn on the water. Open, you know what I mean? Like, everything was broken down into like even that was broken down into routine. Yeah. And then like you stood looking at him thinking, like, I'm stood in a shower with 20 other blokes watching one bloke fully naked. Right, you must wash foreskin like this, and you're like, fucking hell, I've never seen anyone else's dick apart from my own, and now I'm stood in a bloke, and that's like. You're right. Everything is an attack.
That's absolutely true. It is, mate. It is absolutely true. You lined up and like, he's there naked, covered in soap, and then he pulls his foreskin back and he's like, "This is how you need to wash your foreskin, like what you do and stuff." And you're just like, "Fucking hell, this is mental."
Do you remember the first time? I'd be dead interested in reading this bit in the book. The first time you did a block or / room inspection with like your troop sergeant or like that fucking figurehead. Do you remember like that moment where, and no doubt he was a fucking monster of a man and he just fucking balled in?
Yeah,
What was that like?
So basically, mate, when we got to Limston, there weren't enough lads for us to go through training. So we had to wait 2 weeks for another lot to come to form our troop. So we had like 4 fucking weeks of foundation. And the first 2 weeks, mate, although we did get a beast in, it was nothing like what were going to come that we didn't know at that time. So when the other lads rocked up, the training team, who had been quite friendly, just turned like that, mate. And it were like one of the corporals came in, like everybody was scared to death of him, mate, and he was just like, "Volunteer," and like you just don't know what you're supposed to do with that. You don't know that you're supposed to put your hand up and say thing, and he's like, volunteer. And then next minute, you're just getting absolutely thrashed beyond an inch of your life, and you soon learn how you should react to certain calls like that. But yeah, in terms of first inspection, mate, it's just you don't know what there's water in your water bottle. There's like everybody's berries on top of their head, like unshaped. You just look a complete sack of shit, don't you? It's
Yeah, I remember, like, and you'll probably be thinking of this. We had this. Somehow, though we were in the artillery, we ended up having this like tanky Challenger 2 guy, troop sergeant, and he was like army boxing champion, like you said, fucking tattoos on tattoos. His nose had been smashed in, and he just had like, I think he's about 6 foot fucking 7,000. Just the biggest human being I'd ever seen in my life,
ever.
And he come in and he just walked, like he walked in and just went. To me, he went, well, apart from fuck all, what did you do last night? I was like, fucking Jesus Christ. Spent like 25 hours trying to tidy a room, which is the size of my kitchen, with 4 of the blokes. And, he made us throw all of the furniture out the window. Like,
mate, I was just going to say, mate, we had that, mate. We had to throw everything that we owned out at window, including his mattress. And then one of the worst inspections that we ever got and worst beastings that we ever took was, we lived in a block where you could look over the balcony and obviously see down 3 levels.
Yeah.
And the training team came in and they were like, right, throw everything that you own, everything down the fucking centre of the block.
Oh.
And there were a mountain, like, must have been 10, 12 foot high, of all the same kit. The only thing that differentiated it was your name in the back of it. So this is like 12 to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and everybody's like grouchy because you're going to be up all night because there's only like two or three washing machines and dryers on camp. You've got to wash it all, you've got to iron it all, and everybody's at the bottom of the stairs trying to like find their own kit. And you'd find like one t-shirt, then you'd have to wait another hour before you found a sock, and it was just emotional, mate. Absolutely emotional. And then you're up all night again. Then and you're blasting straight into the next day with no sleep when you've got like double period of fizz, and that's in the book, and it's just, do you know what I mean? It's just.
Did you ever have anyone who was like the morale guy, like someone who did impressions, or someone who was like the go-to person when things were tough? There was always like duty bloke, wasn't there? Who was like fucking super funny.
Yeah. You do, don't you? And you absolutely need them guys. And yeah, we had a couple of guys that were like. One guy he were pretty solid, do you know what I mean? Like pretty solid, and we got a lot of morale and fun out of him, and just bantering him and stuff like that. And another guy that's a really close friend of mine that didn't quite make it. I think he left at week 22, and we're still in touch now. And he was a great guy, but he just couldn't get past the finish line.
Yeah. There was always that one, and there was always the duty bloke who was always late for every single parade as well.
100%, mate. Yeah. No, the you initially find that he's quite funny.
Yeah.
And you love the fact that somebody else is always getting in shit, but then training team gets that fucking Fredders with him that they end up punishing everybody, and then he goes from being like quite funny to pretty hated.
So it's sort of a little bit. I remember being down at Oakhampton doing like an artillery course, but I remember going to Oxford and bumping into loads of like sort of lads from Lympstone, and God, they always looked fucking just absolutely like on the verge of fucking death.
Yeah.
What was it like? Do you know? Can you highlight what it was like to be let out? Do you have to get to a certain week before they go, right, you can go to Oxford for fucking half an hour?
So ours were Exeter. So
okay.
Only trained ranks could go to Exmouth. And you wouldn't have dared go to Exmouth. That were arguably the best night out, but that's where the train ranks went. And if you were caught there,
game over.
Probably at that time would have got banged out. So we all went to Exeter. Everybody hated us. I mean, we went out on as first. You get like a couple of hours in the beginning of training. Like you've got 2 hours go ashore, and you're like sinking as many pints as what you can in the only pub that'll let you in. You try to go in other pubs, and you're like, and they're like, want to know what you do, and you've got like Royal Marines recruit all over your forehead, even though you don't think you have, and you drink all these pints and you think you're absolutely nails because you're a Royal Marine fucking recruit, and you just go mental, mate. You go absolutely mental. Like I said, nobody will let you in anywhere, and then on the train on the way back to Lympstone, everybody's carrying on, and there was one lad that once turned around and he went, like, you fucking luminods, aren't you? Which means when you first start, you have to wear a luminous band on your shoulder,
right,
to show that you're in foundation, and it's so demoralising and embarrassing, mate. We call them luminods, and we were like, yeah, and he were like, he must have been in like week, I don't know, 16, 17 of training, and he had so much more maturity and seniority.
Yeah.
And it were really weird, mate, how like when I got to like week 17, week 18 and week 20, it were roles reversed, mate. Like there were lads just doing exactly what we'd done.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything because I never did, but I was just thinking like, fucking hell, I've been there. I were them lads and they look fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Sorry, I said Oxford, Exeter, that's it. Yeah. It's a weird place because it almost, though Lympstone is right on the doorstep, like it was never very sort of military friendly, was it? It was always very sort of standoffish. And
yeah.
I remember we had a night out there once from Northampton, and like, fuck, we couldn't get in anywhere. And like, obviously we weren't recruits, we were fucking on a course down there. And they were just like, nah, you fucking, you squaddies or whatever they called us. But I was like, I never really experienced that. Do you know what I mean? And I thought,
yeah.
And do you know what? It used to fucking wind me up because at that point I had done operational tours, and I was like, fucking wankers. Do you know what I mean? like, how dare you say that I'm not good enough to fucking come in here? He's always kick off. Well, I'm going to kick off now.
Yeah. Mate, I've had it. Literally, I experienced that as a recruit. I don't know if it's as a recruit, couldn't get in anywhere, and then when I went up, drafted up to Scotland, it was same again, mate. Like, no, I were at Ellen's Faslane.
Oh, Faslane, yeah.
So we'd go out in Ellensborough, mate, and we'd got in places, mate, but like the locals hated us, absolutely hated us, especially the lads and stuff like that, and just that sense that like that you're not very well liked wherever you go. So you do kind of stay quite insular then, and stay with the lads, which is natural and understandable.
Did you write about this in the book? Did you write about, you know, when you first went down places and you experienced, you thought, like, as I thought, oh, if I join the forces, people are going to like think, oh, he's fucking mega, that bloke. But actually,
absolutely,
it's not quite like that, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, I think in the places that are immediately affected and exposed to us, like Arbroath, Plymouth, and wherever you are, that aura mystique's gone because they just see, I suppose, a bit of a different side to us when we're out on the piss and stuff like that. And I said, they've got a point, mate. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we kind of invade their territory. It's only the same as a big group coming round. As human beings, we're very territorial, aren't we?
Yeah, 100%.
And that's just what it is, mate.
I mean, it's where are you from? Leeds?
Yes, near Leeds, mate. Yeah, just south of Leeds.
So, like, example, say, like, all of a sudden 40 blokes from Pontefract just tipped up in your local. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's only going to go on for so long, innit? You know what I mean? It's
going to go up, innit? It's
going to
go
up. But is there, like, I feel like this is the fucking book that if I was going down that road, like, it's the perfect book to give someone going to Lympstone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the perfect, how-to.
It really is. And I was speaking to Ben Williams yesterday, and he was saying that, like, somebody can literally, that's in training, if they've got it, like, if they're feeling down, flip open and just say, what were I doing then? And it's literally every single day. And there's some funny points in there, mate. There's some stuff that, like, you forget, and stuff that you like that you would naturally forget unless you'd wrote it down. Did you? What was this? Was there ever a moment in the book where you were like, right, that's it, I'm fucking going home? Like, is there a few of those moments? There's a point in the book where I've done it twice, and I've just put something like, I'm literally driving the fucking pen through the paper. I'm that
Really?
fucked off.
Yeah.
And then there's a week where I've got, this is the week of the fucking word, where I'm just swearing constantly because I've like just been on DigX or something like that, and we've been digging like constantly for 4 days. And I did have wobbles, mate. I mean, I was so I was never going to quit. I was like, in terms of motivation and stuff like that, I was like, my internal motivation was, I just wanted the title. I wanted to be successful. I wanted my green beret, and then externally, nobody thought I could do it. And what drove me really were like a fear of failure, of like going back home and like having to try and chop and change some bullshit excuse to fit. When people are never going to accept that, and I wouldn't have been able to live with myself. So the fear of failure drove me through. And as strong as that was, there were still times when I was broken, and I just thought, this is not what it's going to be. This is not cracked up to what I think it's going to be, or I'm broken, I want to go home, or I'm just little things, mate. Just like.
Was the term in the army, the term back squatted, obviously meant kicked out of your troop?
Sure, yeah.
Is it the same word?
Absolutely, mate. Back squatted, back trooped.
Fucking hell. I've never been so afraid of fucking one word in my entire life. Like,
yeah, I know, mate. I know. And you know what, mate? We were talking about this last night. It was enforced a lot, mate. And it wasn't necessarily for like any kind of like really documented and proven drops in performance. I mean, back then it were like, if the training team didn't like you, you were fucking gone. You weren't going to pass out.
Nah.
If your base didn't fit, if for whatever reason you had to get in a safety wagon or what, that were you gone. They were just not having it. And I think times have changed a bit now, but yeah, that's how it was, mate. I mean, absolutely.
I remember this fucking clear as day, right? I remember we had like a floor, and there was 3 rooms. My fucking floor just happened to be on the fucking same floor, like the same floor as the DS's fucking room. So I was like, fuck's sake, can't even. And then like the DS would shout, well, there's someone fucking else gone. And you'd be like, fucking hell. And like the fucking, the guy, like the DS would walk in and they'd be like, your name's been mentioned a few times today. And you'd be like, oh, fucking hell. Yeah.
yeah. All the mind games are unreal, aren't they? Yeah. So we had like the original troop members that started training.
I've seen this.
We had them on the wall, right, in the picture. And when somebody like VW'd or failed something, they'd stand them up in front of everybody and they'd like go, this is recruit so and so. He is a shit cunt. He is packing his bags and he's leaving training now. And then they used to give you a permanent marker and you had to scratch your own face off.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. It was brutal. Yeah. But you know what, mate? I absolutely used to draw strength from that. When somebody used to like quit or fail in a kind of narcissistic way, I used to just really draw strength from it and just be like, I'm good. I feel strong. And yeah.
Do you feel? I watched an interesting program the other day, and it's about people going through P company, and the Paras have brought in like a guy who is a mindset coach. So before they now take their final test week, he talks to them about why we fear what we fear, like this real new approach of like, this is how we need to approach the task. If you're afraid of heights, this is what you need to do to get over the fear of heights, the fear of the unknown, accepting things are going to be tough. Would you like to see the modern forces adopt this more? I think it's a really great forward thinking.
Mate, I think it's absolutely superb. I think factoring into training and stuff like that, more science-based knowledge and understanding, especially on the mental aspect, is 100% the way to go, mate. I think it's neglected. I think that it's quite archaic how you stumble across and find your mental strength and stuff like that. And sometimes you don't really know how you're feeling, and you just get to this stage and you think, like, I'm mentally strong and stuff like that. But I think it's a great initiative, mate, and definitely something that I really like it. I mean, one of the reasons why I did psychology, and I initially started doing forensics and stuff like that. But I just thought in security, we kind of you miss the trick in risk management by everything's always kind of reactive after. And I just thought I could potentially look down a different avenue here and merge security with psychology to see why people go down that path, why they do what they do, what makes a terrorist and stuff like that. So I've just been looking at like, well, I want to eventually like research the underlying links to like socialization and why people become radicalized and stuff, and look at de-radicalization, and then going on to that about troops and stuff, just looking at like kind of like fresh and vibrant ideas as to how you can better equip soldiers, which is going on what you've said, mate, to withstand conflict and stuff like conflict and war, and just be better prepared mentally for like stuff like PTSD and stuff. Because
I think the old, I'm not saying the old formula is wrong. Obviously, you know, the forces have always been able to stand up to whatever the task was at the time. But, you know, understanding, and I certainly didn't understand it as an 18-year-old man in training. Like, I didn't understand like mind games. Do you know what I mean? I just lived every day.
You don't, mate, like, no.
But yeah,
you don't.
And instead, I'd have rather listened to someone talk about like, I mean, David Goggins is someone who like landed on my radar in the last year or two, and like I listen to a lot of his stuff now, and the stuff that he talks about. Like, if I'd have managed to listen to that day one, week one, I'd have fucking walked into training. I'd have took the Dorf Ninjas, and I'd have just said, right, who's fucking in here? Because I'm here now. Let's fucking have it. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I tell you what, mate, it's a fucking great shout, that, mate. It is a great shout. And like, back when we went through, mate, I mean, just speaking on my experience alone, like there were mobile phones, yes, but there wasn't. They were black and white with Snake.
Yeah.
You couldn't access internet for love or money. There were no like, you had no understanding of like self-help books. They were out there, but you couldn't Google them and stuff like that. You couldn't get in touch with the likes of or access his material like David Goggins and stuff and other inspirational people. And I think lads now and women that are going through and stuff are at such an advantage in that respect. And like you said, mate, I mean, you could really consume all that kind of stuff, and it would definitely. I think working on your mindset and stuff like that, and is absolutely fundamental. I think it's fantastic.
It's like I work a lot on it. Like, I spend a lot of time listening to people, and I don't listen to people who are negative. I've stopped. It's something that I've stopped. But
yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
In what I do away from the podcast, the outdoor world, and the big challenge events I run, I come across people who say to me all the time, like, "Oh, but how can you do that in a day?" I'm like, well, I just fucking tell myself I'm doing it, and then we go and do it. I said, there's nothing wrong with failing at something, but there's a lot of things wrong with failing to fucking try something, because you might fail it. I was like, only in failure does growth and understanding truly come.
It does, because you learn, don't you?
Yeah.
It's an absolute part of learning and a necessary part of learning, and you 100% have to fail in life to understand and grow as a person, and know what that feels like, because like you can learn from them experience and then grow, and you can then mitigate against that happening again. I mean, if it happens again and then you never do it again, that's failure.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. But in society now, like I have an event where it's at the probably very limit of what a human being, an average, I don't want to say average, but like we do 50 miles in 17 hours, right? Which, you know, hiking is a tough fucking day out, do you know what I mean? And the people who come on it, I'm very honest with them. I say this could possibly be the fucking hardest day of your life, because we are going to go to a place where you've never fucking been before, and it's dark. And like I say to people, the first time I tried to do this, I went blind in one eye and I fucking pissed myself. And I'm like, and I'm brutally honest with it. And I'm
mate,
like,
it sounds like a fucking right day out there.
I know. I know I don't have any problem selling it. And people say to me, you went blind in one eye. I went, yeah, but it was my left eye and I'm right eye dominant, so I just fucking cracked on. And they're like, but why? I'm like, because that's where fucking growth happens. I'm like,
I agree. I completely agree, mate.
That, you know, don't be afraid of fucking being uncomfortable. If anything, if you're afraid of being uncomfortable and uncomfortable sits on the other side of the door, then the next time you see uncomfortable, you need to be fucking fighting to get through that door and say, I want to work with you, you fucking cunt. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
You need to get after it.
Your growth as a person, and I'm a massive believer in that, like, hard, intense physical fitness or like exposure and stuff like that, it just breeds mental strength. You can only really truly find yourself when you're really, really under it physically. Yeah,
you've got to be putting the pressure. You've got to be put.
You have, mate. Yeah. Pressure situations where you're exhausted and you're physically broken is what cultivates mental strength for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's great. Guys, we're going to have a fucking part 2 of this podcast. It's been fucking brilliant, but I'm a little bit thinking on time, but we'll sort of look to close down the show a bit, but we'll definitely do a part 2 because I don't want to pay lip service to the rest of the book, so we'll have another section. So I like to finish the show with the 5 whats. Now I've changed it because of COVID-19. So the first one, Mucker, what does your day look like?
So my day, mate, I am literally writing a 5,000-word dissertation to end uni. So I'm currently under heat with that. Going to go out for a run, eat some nice, rich, unhealthy food, no doubt. Nice. Netflix as well.
Yeah.
There's one thing, mate. I tell you what you need to watch. What everybody needs to watch. It's called Operation Odessa.
Right. Okay.
It's about this Russian guy that gets investigated by the FBI, full-on documentary, because the FBI believe that he's buying a Soviet sub for Pablo Escobar.
Fuck. Mint.
Yeah, mate, it's mega.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's mega. Absolutely mega.
That sounds class. What workouts are you doing? You said running, but anything else that you do?
Yeah, so I've got some rusty old dumbbells, mate. I'm just doing just some like dumbbell circuits and whatever I can get away with dumbbells, mate. That's kind of what I'm doing. Caveman CrossFit, mate. That's it.
That's all I had to bring down the mammoths. So it's good enough for them. It's good enough for me.
100%.
What have you started?
What have I started? So again, I've restarted Netflix, mate. I was quite against it, mate, but I think with these current times, I started it 2 weeks ago and I've just smashed everything. So I'm a bit at a loss. So if anybody's got any decent stuff that I could watch, I'm all ears.
I'll give you a good one. There's a program called The Ottoman, which is about when the Ottomans took Constantinople. It's fucking brilliant.
All right. Is it?
Yeah, it's done in like a Game of Thrones way, but at certain points of the battle, they have historians come on and sort of explain what was going on at the time and why this was done and why this happened. And it's a brilliant show. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll give it a whirl, mate. Sounds
good. There's one of the defenders, a guy called Giovanni, probably is the fucking best looking human being I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
if he was that good looking, fucking hell, he was in the wrong trade. Unbelievable. Yeah. Really, really great show. What have you stopped? Anything that you've stopped COVID wise?
What have I stopped? I don't know, mate. What have I stopped? Stop going out, mate. Obviously. Stop going out and enjoying a bit of life. I love me Starbucks, mate. I'm always in Starbucks. Yeah. That's where you can normally find me if I'm not in the house. And just stop going there. So. Yeah,
fair play. Fifth and final one, mate. What's the first thing you're going to do after lockdown?
Starbucks. No, my first port of call, mate, will be the gym. Definitely, I want to go and do a good kind of CrossFit based workout. Your Starbucks 100%, and just maybe get away for a few days, mate. I love going to North Yorkshire and Peak District and stuff like that, and just getting out in wilderness. So
yeah, fucking right. That's
absolutely, mate. Yeah,
that's
shopping as well, mate. I want to do some shopping. I want to get some shopping done.
Yeah, what down Aldi's?
No, mate, just some clothes and stuff.
Looking, Aldi is the most dangerous place I've ever been in my life. Looking 5 and 20s every time I'm going now.
Mate, it's dangerous. We're out lockdown. Never mind with it.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. Guys, it's been fucking brilliant, mate. Where can people find you and where can they find the book?
Yeah, so I'm on Insta, Becoming the 0.1%. Instagram, I've got a page on Facebook, again, Becoming the 0.1%. And just catch me on there, mate. Books currently in for publisher's review, so hopefully I get some good news soon. But obviously, there's been delays with this COVID, so that's currently where I am, and I'll just be sharing all updates and stuff on them forums.
On LinkedIn,
I'm on LinkedIn as well, mate. Yeah, although it's I'm just kind of redesigning all that and restructuring it. So yeah, nice. I'm on there, mate. I'm on there.
It'd be good if you could get someone. Obviously, podcast audio books are the way people consume media now. If you could get anyone to read the book audio, who would it be?
I'd want two, mate.
Go on.
And I'd probably give him 50% share of it, right? So I'd want Morgan Freeman to start.
It was at that moment, Gaz knew. Yeah. Class.
Morgan Freeman, mate, and then David Attenborough to finish it off.
Mint. Oh, that'd be fun. Fucking hell to change your pace, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bit of a change of pace, mate, and I'd be happy with that. Very happy with that.
Fucking get in the inbox, mate. DM him. Say, Morgs, fancy a spin on this?
Yeah, acclaimed author, mate. Morgan, you want all over this, mate. I think he'd snap it up.
He's probably not doing much at the moment, mate. Everyone's locked down. I'm going to get Donald Trump to do mine.
Oh, mate. Mate, he's some boy, isn't he? He's some boy, that
you never have a dull day.
No, never a dull day with that guy.
He's duty bloke on Shark Watch, isn't he, all the time? Watch him.
Mate, zero fucks given.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, it's been fucking brilliant speaking to you, mate.
You too,
we'll
mate.
Definitely do a part 2, a follow-up, once everything's calmed down, and hope the book will be out, and we'll do a follow-up, and I'll work on getting this out, Mucker. So, look, thanks very much for your time.
Really appreciate having me, John.
I'll follow your success. Cheers, mate. See you later. Bye.
Cheers, Mucker. Cheers, bro.